All right, Andy Kennedy joins us now, and AK, I know it's never good to lose in the big dance, but is there any satisfaction seeing Houston continue their role, the team that bounced you in the first round?
I number one, it's never good to lose in anything, is it?
No,
that is true.
Never.
Yes.
I don't care. I don't care really what the setup is, but I didn't know if Houston was going to beat Illinois or not. I didn't know if Houston was going to advance to the Elite Eight, but I knew they were a really good basketball team, and I think that anybody that I value their opinion, all you got to do is watch them for a little while, and then you're like, hey man, they're a good team. I'm pulling for him. I like Kelvin Sampson. I told him prior to our matchup, and I said it, I think, publicly a few times after. I realize Birmingham, Alabama is not Houston, Texas, just based on, the fourth largest city in the United States and all the resources that come with that. But I also told him I am using the blueprint by which he has done a remarkable job of resurrecting Houston basketball, a very, very proud program that had fallen on some hard times, and there had been some apathy in the community as it related to that brand and the image. And he has revitalized that, and that's what we're trying to do here.
Andy, Duke's probably the most talented overall team left in this tournament, but could you make the argument that Houston is the best team? I mean, chemistry is so important. They seem to have chemistry, and they play as hard as anyone.
Yeah, I think it's going to be interesting how it all plays out, them versus Villanova to get to the Final Four. I'm a huge Jay Wright fan, and yes, I do know him, and yes, he is as cool as he seems. That's going to be an incredible matchup. I think Villanova's certainly got a fighting chance because their guard play is so good and their ball movement is so efficient. Houston is a really, really good basketball team, and I know a lot was made of the fact that they lost their two leading scorers prior to this run that they've gone on, but I really think it's helped galvanize them. It's put their rotation at about 7.5 players. Everybody on their team is best version of self. I know I've used that when I've spoken to you guys throughout the course of the season. That ultimately was our goal at UAB. I want all my guys to be best version of self so that we could be the best team that we were capable of being. And I think I have not played a team this year, most definitely, and I don't know if I've seen one that epitomizes that statement better than Houston.
Coach Andy Kennedy with us for a few minutes talking about the tournament on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline. I'm well aware when I ask you this question, your answer could easily be Brownie. If I knew that, I could make millions. But how can a team like Arkansas play as, look, they struggled, honestly, in those first two rounds. They were a different team. It's weird in the tournament, Coach, how sometimes that week off completely changes a team between the round of 32 and the Sweet 16.
Well, you have a long time to prepare, so there's not going to be as many secrets, first and foremost. And number two, it really is the ultimate matchup game. Basketball in and of itself, I think, is the ultimate matchup game, and most especially in college, because in college you don't have to beat somebody 4 times. You just got to beat them once, i.e. St. Peter's. I'm excited to watch that game tonight, even though I think they're going to be overmatched against my man Matt Painter at Purdue. But I just think it's really matchup driven. I think Musselman did a great job of putting those guys in a position to give themselves a chance to beat a 1 seed in Gonzaga. And then let's not kid ourselves. You guys watched the game just like I did, and Arkansas was quicker, more athletic to the ball the entire night. I'm a big believer in the more ball getters that you have, the better your team is to have an opportunity to be successful, and they've got a group full of ball getters.
How close are you to getting your program where you want it to be right now? How close are you in the rebuild?
We're getting close, Jim. In year one, it feels like it wasn't even real. We were able to go 22-7 and create some positive momentum in a time and age that was next to impossible to do. But that year allowed us to get a different caliber of player that we brought in. We've got a good nucleus returning. We are already head deep into this portal. Since we've been talking, there's probably another 60 guys that have put their name in. So, this is I don't know where Chuck Woolery is when you need him, but I feel like I'm on speed dating on the max, just trying to find the right pieces to help us take that next step. I felt like, again, not disparaging anybody in year one, but I felt like this year's team could beat last year's team by 15, and the goal is to get next year's team to beat this year's team by 15, and then we'll have something.
You know, Coach, we had you on, I think last week or a couple of weeks ago. You said you really want your program to kind of model what Kelvin Sampson's done at Houston. We were talking about Gonzaga and, Mark Few, how frustrated he's got to be. And, these national championships are obviously tough to win. But, if they can do it in Spokane, I guess you can do it in Birmingham, right? I mean, look, 23 consecutive NCAA tournaments right now for Gonzaga.
Yeah, a little different ball game. I mean, Spokane to Birmingham. I'm not sure. You may be the first person in the history of the world that have compared the two. But congratulations.
Yeah. Well, I didn't. I've never been to Spokane. I'm just saying, if you can do it in a market like that, you would seem to have more talent around here.
Well, I would say this. I would say for us, we don't need 24 guys. We need a couple. You saw the impact. I mean, we had really good team last year. We added a couple of dynamic pieces. Obviously, the most dynamic in the player of the year in our league, in Jelly Walker, and it completely transforms what you're trying to do. You've just got to continue to add those pieces. I've always said this, and I believe it with all my heart. There are no such things as levels of programs. There's levels of commitment, institutional commitment. Number one, Gonzaga's got that in spades. And number two, there's levels to players. So if you can get institutional commitment and you can get good players, then you can win and win consistently at a lot of different places.
Go ahead. I'm sorry, Brown.
No, you've got a basketball question. I do not.
My basketball question was, is there anything DNA-wise between Houston, Villanova, and Arkansas, the winners last night, that look a lot like the same to you? Do they do things do they have the same type of makeup, those three teams?
Well, the two that I think are probably the most closely connected would be Arkansas and Houston because of their athletic component, their connectiveness defensively. Houston plays different than Arkansas does offensively, but they are very, very similar in their ability just to grind you up defensively. And then Houston does it more systematically in matchups, and Eric Musselman with the NBA background is doing a lot more in the isolation, and he's got a really talented duo front court, back court. Villanova's a little different, not as athletic, I think, as those two teams, but offensively their skill level is at a whole nother level. They've got multiple guys who can dribble, pass, and shoot. Again, Jay Wright puts them in a system where they can beat you early, they can beat you late. They've got a number of different guys that can make hard shots at the end of the clock. So I think that separates them a little bit from the other two.
All right, I know recruiting. I know every coach goes to the Final Four. Give me, other than those two things, one thing you're looking forward to doing in the off season.
I'm a big beach guy, man. I love the beach. It's really the only place that I can exhale. I'm looking forward to that, but that's going to be a few weeks away. I will go to the Final Four. There'll be a lot of inhaling down there in New Orleans, not exhaling, and then we're going to live in this portal, man, and we're going to try to get this roster where we feel good about, and I can go to the beach and kick my feet up and enjoy it a little bit.
Hey, in this portal, how much does NIL play into that?
Plays a big role. And the people want to. All these kids want to look for opportunities and how they can create their own brand. And I've been very honest with all of them. I said, man, that's all great. Let's keep the main thing the main thing. The main thing is you're looking for a place where you can come and expand your game and be a part of a winning culture, be a part of a team that can cut down nets, be a part of a team that can go to the NCAA tournament with the opportunity to advance. We've shown capable of doing all of those things. And with that will come the Jelly Walker type off-court success. Barstool is they've got the kind of deal that I'm still looking for at 54 years old. They're producing merchandise and giving him the money. Well, that's a hell of a deal. That's a hell of a deal. He's been reached out to by a lot of different national brands, but it's all based off of the platform by which he did an incredible job of maximizing and leading this team.
But hell, Andy, if you need somebody to do commercials, just let us know. We'll NIL you up all you need. If you get a good shooter, just let us know.
That's right. I will. I appreciate that.
Yeah. And by the way, Spokane, 217,000 population. Birmingham, 210,000 population.
That's probably the one thing we have in common.
Yeah,
yes.
Other than 12,000 feet of elevation, we're a lot like Spokane.
Thank you, Coach. Enjoy the Final Four. We'll talk again soon.
Hey, I appreciate you guys. Hey, I still want to come up and kick it with you guys and spend some time.
Come on.
Yeah, man, we could have a lot of fun with that. I
Yeah.
want to do it on that Friday though when you open those beers. Don't ask me to come in there on Monday.
We are 4 minutes away, Andy.
That's right.
Come
That's
on
right.
up.
We'll do
That's
it soon.
hey, that is the segment that I want in a couple of weeks.
All right,
And
you
we
got
have a
it.
sign that only says exhale. We have no inhale up here. So come on up.
It's XL only. See
Thank
you,
you,
Coach.
guys.
Thank you. Andy Kennedy with us on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline.